Hi. Kent and I sat down earlier to do a meet and greet and talk about some PadSplit stuff. And after about a minute, we decided we were just going to record the thing and use the content for our YouTube channels. So, welcome to DaveCast, because that's currently what I'm calling it. Enjoy.
Hey, so what
So,
are you working on? You're in sub two, right?
I'm in, yeah. And thanks for, meeting with me today, because I'm in Sub 2. I'm also in Gator. I'm also doing Project Forward. I don't know if you're in on that too,
Yep.
although
Yep.
looking at your YouTube channel, I don't think you really need it. But um, I'm doing those things. I'm starting out. I'm trying to get. I got a couple of EMDs and some wraps and PML opportunities already with my business partners. So we're trying to
Mm-hmm.
expand that business because we all want more capital coming in, and I kind of I need it. Like I need cash flow right now. And then on my side, and some of my business partners are working on this as well. Pad splits. Like I'm trying to get the first pad split, and then I'm trying to get like the 500th pad split, right? Like right now, my goal is I need to get the first one. That's what I'm working on. Like what is holding me up? I can tell you exactly what's holding me up. I have no experience with as a borrower, so the lenders are cagey on wanting to give me a loan.
Mm-hmm.
That's one part of the problem, but my business partners can help me sort that part out. But they won't lend, 100% either, so we have to come up with capital to close the property, do the rehab, and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so trying to figure out how to get private money partners in on the deal if we don't have the cash available to fund it. So that's like what I'm up to and where I'm at right now. And I've been doing networking and outreach with just other Gators, other Sub 2 members, just other people I run into in the street that are interested and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully, are willing to put their money where their mouths are. So that there's all that. And then on this side, like I'm talking to you because I know you have a YouTube channel. You do pad splits. I know you've talked to like Fernando, and he does pad splits as well. And I'm trying to get a hold of him too, to just kind of like pick your brains, find out like what was the experience like for you starting out, how did you get going, so that I can build some connections and understand things a little better. Um, and more importantly, like maybe we can all do business together, right? So just looking
Yeah.
looking for
So,
connections here.
I mean, it took me a whole year to get to 1,000 subscribers, almost a whole year. So it's just a slow grind. I would say for Instagram, I deleted Instagram during COVID,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess there's so much negativity. And then once I realized if I'm trying to raise hundreds of millions of dollars for affordable housing, then I need to come back to Instagram. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like a hard realization, but something that's very, very much needed to do. So what I think your first question was like, how do you work it out with private money partners?
Yeah.
I have through my podcast,
Mm-hmm.
fortunately been able to attract some investors to my world. And so right now I'm in escrow for my first pad split. So I don't have any prior pad splits.
Oh,
I have
really?
Airbnbs, etc. But the principles of how I used to analyze Airbnb still kind of carried forward to pad splits where I just got to develop a framework and I just got to execute it over and over and develop my criteria.
Mm-hmm.
So I literally put in a couple offers. So I think I posted a video like a week ago. I posted that video and then we submitted the offer.
Mm-hmm.
And then they said they were under contract. I was like, I should have made the offer first before I posted the video. So
Yeah. Yeah. Make the offer, right?
yeah, it's okay though, but it's fun. I was doing it anyway, so I figured I
Mm-hmm.
must as well just go live with it anyways.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm gonna do another one for the property I'm in escrow right now right after this call. So that'll be live and up and running too. But I have a partner that reached out over LinkedIn and said, "Hey, really believe in what you're doing for affordable housing. I want to be an investment." So some of the deals that I have offered to my partners is, hey, we can be 50-50 partners, where they're taking a loan underneath their name. They are bringing all the capital for the down payment
Mm-hmm.
and down payment and renovation costs, etc. So let's just use really, really round numbers. Let's say for this pad split, I'm an escrow under. It was 100 grand all in cash
Mm-hmm.
outlay
Mm-hmm.
upfront, down payment, renovations, and everything. I just say, hey, for the first $50,000 of cash flow that would have gone to me as a 50-50 partner, will go back to you first so that you get a faster return of capital. Now, that means assuming a 20% cash on cash return deal, I don't get any cash flow for 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
theoretically speaking, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then from 5 years from now, I will share in the cash flow at that point in time. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how I have structured with my private money partners so that I am the one that is underwriting all these deals, sourcing the teams, looking for the folks to build on a team, property manager, GC, deal finding, underwriting, etc., all that sweat equity portion of it.
Mm-hmm.
But once I find a deal, like they're able to provide the financing and take down the deal with me. So that's how it works. The other option I gave them was for them to be 60-40. 60-40 meaning they're 64% ownership, I'm 40% ownership, but I only forego cash flow for 1 or 2 years so that I can start generating cash flow a little bit sooner, but they get more upside from the increased equity position.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, it's whatever is feels fair to both you and your partners. There's really no right way to do this, but I get this question asked all the time. So I figure I'm also just leave with an example and just let you know how I did it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, because I was looking at when I talk to people, particularly other gators, I say like, what I need is, PMP, and between us, we can get a loan to cover most of it, but we got to bring cash for the rest. And what I can't have is another loan because the lenders don't allow that anyway. Like I know Alpha Gator doesn't. And then you're gonna have to leave your money in the deal for a while. So I was coming up with different terms arrangements, kind of like what you were just saying. And anything from like giving them more equity in the deal as long as because for what I need is like maintaining the cash flow at the moment, to something like you were saying, like maybe I just forego a portion of it for a while, give them most of it, and then pick up as time goes on, or a variety of other options. So I totally understand where you went with that, and I was thinking the same thing. But I don't even have the first PadSplit yet, so I'm like a little far, a few steps behind you right now, just trying to get things rolling. But I hear you, and I like your approach there. It sounds like you've been using mostly your Instagram, maybe, or or Instagram, YouTube, like just the whole shebang to kind of pretty much do what Pace does, right? Just clone yourself, and then tell people what you're about and show them, what you're doing, what you're trying to help with, and then they kind of come to you.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean it's not complicated. I think it
Hmm.
just takes a lot of consistency, right?
Hmm.
I mean, I would just look at anybody else's Instagram or whatever and just look at them like, hey, how long have they been consistently posting for? To be honest with you, I did my podcast for about 7 months before I ever got a message like that. So, you
I
know,
hear you. I
there's no
had.
guarantees that you'll get anything like that the first week, first month.
Oh no,
It's
no, I
it's
I'm under no disillusion about that. I had a
yeah.
baking channel on YouTube for a while, and it took
Oh, that's
forever
cool.
to get like 250 subs. It's not like these kind of channels, talking head channels, where you can
Hmm.
post like 5 videos a day if you want. It takes me like a month to like get a recipe going and get it perfected, get it to film right,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
then do the video editing, which is way more involved than stuff like this. Like I cut my intro video for the new YouTube channel for this stuff. I cut it in like half an hour, and that was just me
Nice.
like doing several takes to figure out what I was trying to say. So way
Yeah,
way easier.
dude.
But anyway, um, yeah. So how hard was it to get into escrow on the current property? Did this one go a bit smoother than the one you did that video about last week?
Yeah. So I mean, we put in an offer for I think on Friday. We put in an offer on Thursday, late Thursday, and we got offer accepted on Friday, and then we started working on some stuff to make sure we're getting some loan disclosures in place, just compare rates from some of the lenders that my partners have been pre-approved for already.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is probably the fourth property we'll put an offer on, roughly, right around there. Yeah, the fourth one. So
And they're all pad splits. All four of those are
yeah,
pad
for
splits.
these ones are pad splits. I got two short-term rentals in Scottsdale. They're bachelorette themed. They do really, really well. They probably cash flow about like $1,000, $2,000 a month each, so it's great. And then I got another long-term rental that's affordable housing in Alabama. I'm working on another sub two deal in Alabama right now. But yeah, I fund the first deal I funded with mostly my capital, and then the subsequent properties were primarily funded with private money partners
Mm-hmm.
after that.
And you're so the private money partners. You mentioned this a few minutes ago. The private money partners you brought in, they're getting loans under their own name, like not a commercial business loan. It's like they're just going out and getting like a 30-year fix for like 65K or something.
Yeah, that's right. Using their debt to income ratio and the W-2 income. Correct.
Huh. I think that's genius. I had not considered asking anyone to do it that way. Um,
Well, you got to have a great relationship with them. That's all.
um, yeah,
So,
because
but do you work full time right now, Dave?
I was when I joined Sub2 and Gator, and
Uh-huh.
I knew my company had been rolling layoffs for like a year, so I knew the job was going to go away like by the end of the year, and I thought
Hmm.
no earlier than October, and they just cut everyone in our entire department in June, and I was like, well,
Got it.
there goes 5 6 months of runway right there.
Yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah.
So I'm all in right now. I'm like, forget it. I'm not even gonna bother. I do have like, I'm working off my own funds. I mean, I'm living on my own funds, but that's only
Hmm.
gonna last so long. So right now, I'm just all in trying to get things moving with all the Gator side stuff and the lending and all that. And then I'm trying to use the pad splits. I'm trying to get pad splits so I can use the cash flow to shore things up so that because my like right now when people ask me like, well, what's your dream, I'm like, look, you can view what I say any way you want, but my dream is I want to wake up in the morning and never have to worry about a bill getting paid. Right? That's what I want. And that
Hmm.
could be
Hmm.
10,000 a month or that could be 100K a month. It doesn't matter. It's just that's where I'm at right now. I just need all my bills paid when I wake up in the morning. So
Got it.
I'm trying to
Got it.
shore that up as fast as I can. And I'm also an integrator by nature. So, of course, for
Hmm.
me, it's not like how I can't just go out like a visionary can and just start doing stuff. I've got to build all my systems, get all my processes in place, figure
Yeah.
everything out, analyze it to death. I do suffer from analysis paralysis at times. It does happen, but now I have my stuff like in a place where it works. Like I was just overhauling my website last weekend. Finished that yesterday. I've got my forms in place for intake for things that I need on the lending side.
Hmm.
I've got my buy
Hmm.
box all set up for pad splits. I've been rebuilding. I couldn't stand anybody else's calculators for underwriting, so I built my own. I got that up and running for
Nice.
pad splits. And I was watching. I think I got in touch with you because I was watching your video in one of your posts about going through your that property last week and going through your calculator, and I was like, oh, the bookkeeping and the legal thing. I hadn't considered just rolling that into the calculator, and now I have it right. So I was like, thanks for that,
Yeah.
by the way. I'm
Yeah,
like,
you're welcome.
yeah, I'm like, I
I
got to
think that's
talk to
why
this guy.
people I think a lot of people lose money because they always think like, oh, Airbnb income is this, my PITI is this. I'm like, dude, there's like your operating expenses is almost like double your PITI. So like that's why so many people are
Yeah,
losing money on Airbnbs. It's just
yeah,
they get so optimistic about expenses, it's almost unrealistic. It's kind of
yeah,
silly to be quite honest with you. So for me, if I know I'm making a deal after accounting all these expenses, then I know I got a deal. So what you can do is just simply just start underwriting deals like I do and just start posting them.
yeah,
That's what I would recommend. I think
yeah,
that's your best bet forward. And if you are a big analysis paralysis person, just prove it to yourself and just do one every single day, post one every single day. And then eventually you can go back and tell yourself, like, oh, I already looked at 50 pad splits in a year. I know what I'm doing. I'm ready to put in an offer for this property. That's what I
Ye-
would recommend.
yeah. And I'm glad to hear you say that because that's exactly what I've been doing. Is I've
Dope.
been trolling the markets, looking for properties, seeing if they underwrite. Some of my partners bring stuff in too, and we underwrite those together.
Are you
And
recording it?
what's that?
Are you recording it?
Oh, yeah, that's actually the hard part is just getting on the phone at the same time.
Why?
um,
Why don't you just record it yourself?
oh, you mean record myself doing it? That's actually what I was going to start doing this week after watching you do that on your video. I'm like, oh, why have I not
Yeah,
been recording myself doing the underwriting and talking about it?
yeah,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. You're absolutely right
Every
about that.
property I send over to my partners, I have a Loom video and I just walk through it. Um, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And I bet you're running into this too. On the PML side, we run into it constantly. Like 99% of the PML requests are just garbage. But with underwriting, because when people are sending us property leads, like, do you want this? Do you want to? Because we had a couple of, what was it? We had a couple of PadSplit properties come up in different locations, and one of them was in Phoenix, and we were trying to get it, and the problem with it was the cash, like it was sub 2, but the cash needed to close it was like 175K, and we just couldn't get it that fast. But when we underwrote it, we were like, this property will make money, but we don't know what the owner did. Like he like Bob Vila'd the house or something when he did his
I
own
mean,
rehab.
75K, that seems kind of high.
Yeah, because there's two problems, right? The rehab was costing a lot because of the way he rehabbed the house. We had to like undo and fix a lot of that stuff. And then the other was that he wanted 75K to get out. And then there was just there was some arrears on it and just the closing costs on top of that. So it was just dragging up the cost of entry like a lot. And it
What was the purchase price on the property?
for 440.
Okay, I haven't really seen any property above, like honestly, above 350 work for a pad split.
Really, because well, that's actually good because on this one we were concerned about that the asking price, but because it was sub 2, we were willing to give it a shot. The main thing it had going
Get
for
it?
it was he actually redid his driveway, and it literally added room for 7 parking spots. Plus, the house itself could
Cool.
support 9, even 10 if we really wanted to squeeze it. Bedrooms,
Okay.
and it already had 3 bathrooms. So we were looking at it like this property actually can work. But because just the timing on this, we couldn't. There was no way we can get the capital in time to close with that. I mean, that was just too much for us.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it from your private money partner standpoint, right? They also don't. Granted, I just said like 5 years of cash flow that I'm going to repay them for faster return of capital, right? Their
Yeah,
goal is still to pull back out as much capital as possible. So if
yeah,
you buy too high, then there really isn't much room for appreciation to bail your private money partner out,
right, right.
right? The goal is still to refi. Like I have agreement with my partner partner. It's like, hey, if we ever think we can pull back out all of our invested capital, we're going to do it right away. That's in our partnership agreement that says like, hey, if that ever happens, we're going to do it right away,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So they also don't want to. They also want to recycle their cash. They don't really want to have all the money tied up forever. So if you are looking for a turnkey, quote unquote, turnkey remodel, where I think the property I was talking about in my video last week is a good idea, good example of a turnkey where you're only about like 35 grand conversion cost. That's not that much, but if it was a bigger rehab, I would need my purchase price to be like 180 to 200 in order for me to force enough value by converting a garage or enclosing a carport to get the additional livable square footage into the tax records so that I can pull back out the capital, right?
Yeah.
So you quickly determine what your buy box is based off your private money partners. And I think, have you had that conversation yet with some private money partners? Like that might be a good way to go about it.
Yeah, the conversations I started having about that last week all led me to the same ask from them. They're like, "Can you put a package together about what PadSplit is, what you're trying to do with it, how it all works, and what kind of money you're looking for to do these?" And when I started to put something together, I was like, "Well, I need to know what kind of money you have and what you're willing to do to tell you
No,
what."
no, 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 no. You're asking the wrong way. They're looking to you for leadership. You don't ask them what they're willing to do. You say, this is what I need, and you allow them to come up to it.
Well, yes and no, right? Because if they don't have any confidence and knowledge, you have to give them the leadership to show that you know what you're doing. But you can't even put it like, all right, sorry, I say you. I can't put an offer on a house if I don't know how much money I have to put it in to put on it, right? Like I know what I can get for loans. That I've already figured that out. That's all in my calculator now. But if I say, well, I need to bring 75K to the table, but I don't know if any of my partners will put the money in, how am I going to go out and make an offer? Then I'm like every other wholesaler out there that I deal with that goes and just gets under contract, has no buyer, and their deal is not going to go through, right? Because they're not prepared to actually close it. I'm trying to go in ready to close. So that's what I mean. Like I need to know what you're willing to do. if we're gonna work together as PM, partners.
Can I tweak it just a little bit for you?
Absolutely, because I'm probably wrong. So tell me how you think I can do better.
So here's another thing I've been doing. I said, this is what I need for this deal to make happen. Like
Hmm.
in general, purchase price under 300 grand, right? You give the criteria and you show people why this is the criteria by sending a video, right? So if I were you, I would literally just take the same exact property that I did it underwriting on
Hmm.
last week, right?
Hmm.
And copy it and make a same video, but with yourself speaking. That's what you should do.
Hmm.
Because then now you have a case study showing someone, hey, this is what a deal looks like. Next time I get this deal like this, would you be interested? And to your question about like, hey, you don't know what they have,
Hmm.
you can also offer like, hey, if you don't have all of it, we can bring in another partner in place. If you know someone else that's also interested in real estate, because then now you might split it a third, where you went to a private money partner, but they only have about half the cash invested, so they need to
Right.
find another person. So they'll find another person, but then you didn't have to go find the other person. You get what happened there? Where if you want to only know like, hey, this person only has 50 grand, but you didn't ask whether or not they know anybody else with another 50 grand, then you just lost that opportunity. Because the best way to raise capital is one, you can do it on your own, or you can have someone else raise capital for you.
Right. I think maybe I wasn't explaining. I probably just wasn't really explaining kind of that. Right. They need to know from me. What's the criteria? How does it work?
Mm-hmm.
What am I looking for? Absolutely, you're absolutely right. Right. I have to provide that to them, and that's what I've been working on. I just came to the realization that I can't I can't realistically like I can know exactly what a property is going to cost, and I can even do exactly what you were saying. It's like I can just underwrite it, show the video of that, and explain it to
Mm-hmm.
them, right? As part of the pitch,
Mm-hmm.
if you will. And
Yep.
then I can say, we need this much to close this. Do you have it? And you're right. It's like, well, even if you don't, do you know someone else who does? And those are some of the conversations I've had recently. It's
Mm-hmm.
like you don't have to bring all the money yourself. You might be a capital raiser that I'm working
Mm-hmm.
with, and between you and the capital provider, the three of us can be in the deal doing this. It's fine.
Yeah.
I just get worried when you get up to like five people, then you're dealing with syndication issues, and I'm trying to avoid that. Because what I run into a lot of, I don't know what your experience is, but I run into a lot of this. A lot of people are in the same boat. They have no money, 5K, 10K, maybe 25K, and that's it. And it's just not enough to close the deals
You're just talking to
themselves.
the wrong people. That
Yeah.
just tells you you're talking to wrong people.
Yeah, so I think you're right. I don't think I've found the people with more cash flow yet that are willing to put it behind something. And I kind of heard what you said earlier too. I'm not looking necessarily all the time. People, hey, keep your money in forever until we refi or sell the property or whatever. I do have strategies around like just flipping whatever we have. If it's not sub two, if it's just we get a DSCR loan to pick up the property and rehab it. I am looking to flip those into rental loans and get people cashed out faster so that they can do the same thing, recycle their money quicker and do more properties as well. So I am like that is part of what I've been thinking about. Again, without the experience, I don't know what will and won't work yet. But I do like the way you're thinking about this, and it is showing me a lot of what can and what can be done and what might work. So I really appreciate that kind of feedback. It's really helpful. Thank you for that.
No, honestly, it's just whatever you. Anything can work. That's the crazy part.
Yeah,
Anything can work.
yeah.
And frankly, if you're trying to get on PadSplit, I would give up 90% of the deal to get my first PadSplit if I had to.
Cause the way you described that earlier, I was like, I hadn't considered that even like maybe just to get like because one thing that's important to me right now. I know with the lenders even it's like they don't really want to. No one and the same thing with my other businesses and regular stuff. Just getting anything. It's like no one wants to help you if they don't know you and they don't trust you. They don't want to give you a loan unless you can already prove you don't need the loan. They don't want to help you grow your business if you're just starting out and you haven't earned any revenue yet. Like it's always the same story. And I'm kind of like, well, what if the most important thing to me on number one is getting my name on the HUD statement, right? And I just
That
give up the
absolutely
cash
should be
flow,
your number one.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just gave me a new one right there with that one. It's like, yeah, what if the first one really the only thing that mattered is my name being on the deal so that the lenders see I've got a property under my control. And then it makes it easier to work with them. So that could be a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my first deal, I put in all the majority of the money. My first deal, I put in 200 grand. My partner put in 50
Yeah.
because I was unproven. I had to put in all the capital.
Yeah. And I
My
was,
second property, my partner put in 200 grand. I put in 50.
yeah.
Okay. It's just, that's how it works.
That's kind of what I was thinking is like I do have some cash and I'd be willing to risk it as long as the overall exit strategy worked for getting my cash back out.
Don't
Yeah,
even
something
worry
like that
about
could
that.
totally work.
You're thinking about it all wrong. You're trying to say, let me go into it as long as I can get it back out. Yeah, sure, that'd be great. But again, your motive is clouded because your real goal is to have a showcase model. Because if you never put anything on the shelf, no one's ever gonna buy it, right? You gotta put out like this is my PadSplit, this is my property, this is how much it makes, and then people will just invest with you,
Hmm.
right? For and to be honest with you, right? All my partners, I have always told them, you don't need me. I have literally shown you how to underwrite. I've shown you what teams and GCs you can use for your own team and what property managers you can use and how to look out for issues and everything.
Hmm.
I tell them everything
Hmm.
that they need to know. And then I literally say, you don't need me, to be quite honest with you. I have just given you everything. When you take that approach, people would trust you a lot more instead of you're just out there to grab their money. Because not only do you just demonstrate that you're out there to help them, you have the best interest at heart, but then you've also shown them how they do it on your own because that's how you understand how to do it. So you get to demonstrate your expertise. That's how I raise capital.
Hmm.
So you need
Um,
to have way more conversations every day, just helping people. Like that's like honestly the best way I can couch it. It's like you go on Zooms every day, just like this, help whatever it is. You're like, oh, you need help writing underwriting PadSplit? Let me help you. Let me help you. Let me just send me the property. I'll do an underwriting Zoom right now because you don't have a job right now. You should do the underwriting Zoom. Send them back a Loom video for that's 10, 15 minutes. Like, this is how I looked at it. They'll be like, oh, wow, great, awesome. Now, all of a sudden, they'll start telling people, like, oh, Dave is a master at underwriting pad splits.
hmm.
Now they start spreading the word to other people.
Hmm.
And eventually, you'll get private capital, deal flow, whatever it is. Like, that's my
Okay.
honestly best advice.
I guess I'm communicating two things here. One is doing that's what I am. My goal is to be doing that, to be helping people and making it
Mm-hmm.
so they can feel confident doing the deals themselves and doing whatever they want to do. Absolutely, I'm all about that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the other problem, the problem I'm communicating is I need cash flow. So if I'm risking my own money on deals, that's how I'm communicating to you. That's what you're hearing from me.
It sounds desperate.
Right,
That's why.
exactly, right, because I have to be able to pay my bills in 6 months in a
Sounds
year.
very desperate when you say that. When you first said that to me, I was like, dude, there's no way you're gonna raise capital. You need to bring that up.
See, so like I guess I have to keep that to myself because like that is my problem to deal with, but at the same time I've
Correct.
got to protect my capital, and if I'm not doing that
Well,
as job number
I,
one, I'm going to go broke and live on the street, and I'll never get anywhere.
that's a wrong mindset, to be quite honest with you. Because when you say I gotta protect my capital, protect my bills, right? The investor is gonna hear me. Even though that's not your intention, I completely understand why you're saying it to
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
The investor is gonna be like, this guy just wants to make sure he pays his bills, pay his bills, pay his bills. Instead of just flipping it around, tweaking it a little bit and say, this guy has my best interest at heart. He wants me to make money. That's why I want to invest in Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense how I explained it? I don't want to sound off critical, but I'm just trying to give you a very objective
No,
third
you're
party
you're
view of what I heard.
you're not sounding critical. You're sounding right. And it's I the reason I struggle to raise capital is because I don't know how to communicate for raising capital. I am worried about my own problems so much that it just comes out when I talk to you, right? Like, and it comes
Yeah.
out when I talk to others, and it all the other messages about how I'm actually trying to help to end up getting lost. That's why I've been hesitant and struggling to work with people on the capital raising side. It's just hard for me to kind of separate those two things. I mean, I wish I still had the W-2 job because then I wouldn't be talking about it like that. I wouldn't be worrying about that. But it is what it is right now. So I'm thinking, how do I deal with this problem while building things up and doing all the good stuff over there with everyone else and really being out there in the world for them? Um, so I guess I need to put more thought into how I do that, how I really present myself, because I do when I don't bring up the subject of money with the others. It's good conversations all around. It's what do you need help with? Okay, here's something I know how to do. Let me help you with that. Like, come, let's come back next week and go over this scenario. Let's talk about that. Let's do these things, and let me show you how this works. And here's
Yeah.
my experience with it, and all that stuff. And those are great conversations, like the ones you're saying to have, exactly like that. But I've noticed exactly my problem when I bring up the anything related to the cash. That's where the conversation goes, and it's my fault and it's my problem to solve. So I need to. You're absolutely right. I need to change the mindset around how I do that. So that is food for thought that I'm going to be taking back with me this week and figure something out for. Just how to do it correctly.
Just do one thing. Just do one thing. Make it real simple.
Mhm.
Just don't ever bring up I need to pay my bills.
Mhm.
That's the first thing you can do. If you just omit that line,
Mhm.
that's great because then you stop planting one seed already.
Okay.
Just for 1 week, take that one line out. Like I don't need to pay my bills.
All right. So try to remember to the best of my ability not to say that, not to bring that up, not to
Put it on a
do
little
that.
post-it. Put on your
Yeah.
monitor.
I do. I use post-its all the
It's-
time. I don't know if you see
Yeah,
that.
there you go. This right. Don't say I gotta pay my bills.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because you can pay your bills so many other ways. You're doing Gator right now. How's
Mm.
that going? Like, are you generating good leads for that? Like, how's that going?
I just started, so I'll probably have to get back to you in a few weeks after I
Okay.
really make connections with wholesalers and other communities and everywhere else. I'm doing outreach to, try and help those folks get their deals done.
Okay. Okay. Got it. So cool. Keep me up to date on that one, dude. You could just drive Uber. Like, there's so many ways that. Like, seriously, how much are your bills a month? Like, including your mortgage or rent or whatever.
Oh, it costs me like 10K a month. I mean, I live in
10K.
Southern California. This place ain't cheap. So,
I live in San Diego as well.
yeah.
So you can use some side hustle money to generate some income. Or, hey, look, you're in Project Ford right now. There's tons of people that would just pay for someone to help them automate their social media stuff. So if you get really good at hiring 1 or 2 VAs to cut reels for people and stuff like that, then you do a little service like that for people and build relationships with people that are also on the up and up because they're also making content. So you know that they're going to grow an audience anyways, and then they will naturally refer you to more private money partners. I'm just spitballing ideas, right? There's
Yeah,
so many
yeah,
ways for you to pay your bills.
Yeah, you got some good ideas on the social media front. The other thing too is I used to do web development and e-commerce, and the one thing I've noticed a heck of a lot of in this community, but in general in real estate, people are not tech savvy, and like I don't even know how some of them figured out how to get their own professional looking email addresses. But they don't even have a website, or at least one I can find, and I'm pretty good at finding websites for things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, how did you get your email address, but you don't even build your own website, which literally can be done in 15 minutes?
I don't even have a website yet, right?
You don't have a
Like,
website?
I used to work in the AI machine learning world. Like I was the portfolio manager, working with a bunch of data scientists and everything. And I was like, well, website help? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I do think so. But for me, that hasn't stopped me from just going out to have a conversation and raise capital and posting stuff on YouTube.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, that's what I mean. I don't think like a visionary in that respect. I don't just go out and do. I'm like, I need my website. I got to have my email address. I got to look professional. I got to be professional. And I'm like, going to other people and I look at them. I'm like, how are you doing this much business, but you don't have anything? Like, how's that possible?
Happens every day.
Yeah,
So many
it
ways
does.
to
It
make
must. It must. And then I guess like one thing I can offer is say, well, look, if you're interested, let me help you just get your email and website going because that doesn't take me much effort at all to help you
then
with.
you should do that. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think I am going to start like bringing that up. I talked to my business partners about that a few weeks back, and they said the same thing. They're like, yeah, why don't you? I mean, it's easy for you. Just do it. It's easy side
But
hustle.
Your integrator self is stopping you because everybody's saying just do it, but you haven't done it.
Well, I'm starting to talk to people now, and it's coming up. So I'm like, yeah, okay, that sounds like a path where I could at least help people like get what they need on that front. And I just need to give them the path where either I help them do it directly, or at least I can show them how cheap and easy it is. I can certainly do videos on it. So there's a lot of different ways I can help them with that. Is I guess the short answer to that one.
Yeah. So every day you should be doing one video on underwriting deals, and like week you should be doing one video on to create a website.
One a day, a video a day for that.
You
Yeah.
have to underwrite a deal every single day,
Oh,
anyways.
I do
What else
more
are you
than that.
doing?
I do like 5.
Exactly.
Yeah, I do like 5. But
Yeah.
I bet like your calculators. I don't know exactly how your calculator is set up, but the way mine is set up, I've automated the living daylights out of it.
Great.
So all I need is the core information, and it just calculates everything for me. And then I spend more of my time double checking, make sure it calculated correctly. But it does not take me long to underwrite anymore because of that. Like that's why I couldn't stand all the other calculators I was finding. Is they're either not automated, they're not right, they're only focused on one thing. It's just like, ugh. So I built a calculator just to like make my life easier. And then people
Cool.
started asking me about it last week. I bet they're asking you about yours too. And I'm like, yeah, I hadn't thought about sharing it, but I guess I can like really get it all the way it needs to be, and then do some videos on that, and then share it to anybody who asks me for it. Just give it to them. Like I don't.
Yeah, people DM me all the time for my
Yeah,
calculator.
yeah. I mean, I don't care about sharing that thing. It's fine. Um,
Yeah.
and it's
It's
more.
out workbook.
Mine is like more than just pad splits. I'm like, well, if you're trying to figure out just an LTR, do an MTR. If you're trying to do lending, if you're trying like just all the dispo strategies, like I'm just trying to have it do everything so I understand what I can do when I'm underwriting a deal. Like, what are my options? That's what I want it to tell me. Because a lot of people that I talk to also have the underwriting problem. They either never have tried to comp and underwrite, or they're not good at it, or they don't understand it, and it's not for everyone. I get that. It's not for everyone, and they need help with that. That's so, like you said, like I can help people with that too because I've been getting better and better at it. Uh,
Yeah. Amazing.
yeah,
Do it.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. And I've been offering. So last week I started offering. I'm like, look, I'll underwrite one deal for you a week, like because I don't want to be tied down too much. Then I'm out of time, and I can't. That's less people I can help. So I'm trying to give people something to work with. But you're right with the videos. If I do more videos on that, I can also point them to the videos and say, all right, let me watch my videos. You'll see how I'm underwriting stuff, and then we can talk. Right? Then I can help figure out where your gaps are and what's holding you back and from figuring this stuff out. Well, you're giving me a lot of ideas, and we've only been on the phone for 40 minutes, so I appreciate that.
No, if you have a newbie, right? Like I used to get this question all the time. People used to ask me about how to underwrite short-term rentals. I finally decided to create a video on short-term rentals. Like that was published on Business Insider. Business Insider loved it. So whenever I get newbies, they ask me for STRs. I send them a video. I say, watch this, then ask me for feedback. 95% of them will never watch the video and come back with comps. They just go back to the same lazy way of using AirDNA. I was like, that's the wrong way of doing it.
Yeah.
So if you find someone that has money, then you spend a one-on-one time with them and you don't tell them to go watch a video. You walk through them live in person to give them the attention.
Oh, I see what
If
you're
you think
saying.
If
Yeah,
it's a newbie, you send them to the video.
I got you. Okay, that is, I like that. Thanks for that. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really
You
good
got to
one.
recognize if you think they have capital or they have connection to capital, you get on a call with them, you do a one-on-one, and you walk them through the deal.
Yeah, that makes
And
a
then
lot of sense. Right,
if you
right.
don't think they have capital, always assume. Granted, always assume everybody has capital.
Mm-hmm.
Always assume everyone has capital. So, but then if for some reason like they're just new and they're just like they're just trying to pick your brain, like that's my red flags. Like if they want to say you pick your brain, I just like, all right, go watch the video first and then ask me questions because I do make myself available to answer their questions.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's another way to go about it. So yeah, I mean, think about it. But it sounds like you got some action steps. Just one, stop talking about I gotta pay my bills. Two, underwrite a property every single day. Put a video up on it, and then explain your underwriting. I know it's automated, but you gotta explain it to people that they understand why is it a deal and why
Yeah,
is it not a deal.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
That's the most important part.
Right, right. Yeah, your number one action step is the number one action step. I've got to change my whole mindset around how I communicate that. Absolutely. I appreciate that feedback. Yeah,
Because
I
it's not
do.
necessary. It's not necessary.
Well, for me,
I
it's
know,
getting my
but you gotta
brain
work on it.
right around that. Like it's just fixing what's
It's
in my
your
head.
your brain wants to pay your bill. Your brain wants to make sure the roof over your head is stable, right?
Yeah,
I get
yeah,
it. I get
yeah.
it. That's
So,
why I tell most people to stay in a W two job if you can.
well, I
So
would
you're not
have.
chasing a wholesale check. Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Well,
it's
that's
like,
not to stop you from getting another W two job. You can apply to elsewhere.
Well, that's a whole different mindset thing. Like I've kind of had enough of working for the man, so to speak. I don't
You
mind doing
should.
contract work, and I've actually been considering like because I used to do a lot of contract work in between jobs, and it pays well. So I'm kind of like, well, what if I just picked up another 6 month contract? What's the harm in that? At least I'll have the money flowing. Not a big deal. But
Yeah,
I don't need to talk about
but
that now.
don't no. I'm saying like it's not talking about the man. It's about getting back into the room where people have W-2 jobs where they're able to take a loan out under their name and be a private money partner.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, some of my partners were doing concepts like that. They were like, "Well, what if I just started talking to the other folks like that?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's a good idea." Um, so,
Because
yeah,
everyone in sub two, if you only raising capital from within sub two, it's a very, very different mindset because everybody wants equity, right? Everybody wants a creative deal. Everybody wants to deal with 10% or less entry fee.
yeah. See,
Go outside of sub two.
I don't even have a problem giving up equity if they're bringing the capital. Like, I don't have a problem with that because I just want to get the deals done. And if that's what helps them, great, great. Why are we not doing business together? Exactly what Pace says. Why are we not doing business together? So yeah, but I'm also like looking elsewhere because I do know a lot of other people, and a lot of them they haven't done any of the training. They've never done real estate before, so it's a different approach with them entirely. Like first, I have to educate them on real estate investing, and find out where their head is at because a lot of them have an even worse mindset. They're like literally, I was talking to a friend of mine, dude makes a lot of money, and I said, well, you want to do real estate? Great. Well, how much are you looking to put into that? And he's like, I'm willing to risk maybe $3,000. And I was like, what?
Stop talking.
Yeah. I'm like, what? Like, why am I talking to you? But
But
then
it's on your. I think you have to ask the right questions. Like, hey, what excites you? Right? Do you care about Airbnbs? Are you
yeah,
more excited about that? Are you into renting out other rooms, which is PadSplit? You don't have to say PadSplit. It's like, hey, look, we rent out other rooms. Hey,
yeah,
look, we
yeah,
rent on the Airbnb. Hey, look, we rent to the travel nurses. What are you interested in? Ask investors that.
yeah. So with him, it's a different story. He's more interested in doing the commercial creative financing and buying and selling businesses, and I know that's coming from somewhere in Gator soon. I know that's picking up soon, but yeah, it's he wants to do some regular residential real estate, but really he wants to do the buying and selling of businesses. Like he follows Cody Sanchez like nobody's business. Like he watches
Mm-hmm.
everything she puts out. So I was explaining to him like, well, Cody knows Pace and like they do stuff together, and he didn't believe me, and I was like, do you think like when she introduces Pace on her channel, like that was just luck? I'm like, no, like they know each other. Like, come on. Um,
Yeah.
so anyway, yeah, lots of great stuff. Appreciate the feedback, but the one thing we haven't discussed, what can I be helping you with? And you haven't asked me for anything, and I usually try to start my calls that way. So, is there anything I can do for you?
That's how you know I raise capital, right? I make it all about my investors. So
Yeah.
I mean, if you ever know anyone that invests in affordable housing, like let me know, send them my way. I
Mm-hmm.
want to get them on a podcast and just interview them and let them share their story. For
Okay.
me, I on my full time stuff, I do development. I joined a team. We're building 178 apartments in Wisconsin. We're building 400 apartments in Texas right now. We're setting aside half the units for affordable housing, and yeah, that's what I do, man.
All
So
right.
if you know anyone that's aspiring developer that wants to do it but are too scared about the whole process of development, like send them my way. I'll have a conversation with them.
I don't know anyone today, but if I run into them, I know who to
Yeah,
send them to.
yeah, dude. And
Yeah.
honestly, like, dude, so you can raise capital too. You can borrow my credibility if you want.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be like, look, this is one of my partners, Kent. He's the host of the Affordable Housing Podcast.
Yeah.
He's just went to escrow on his first Airbnb. He's been featured on Business Insider 5 times. He's my partner. Would you want to invest with both of us? And I can get on a call with you and talk about it with your partners. So sometimes you don't have to do everything on your own. Sometimes you can borrow someone else's credibility, come in and help you raise capital.
Yeah. So that's another winner idea right there. And now I need to go get to that level where I can offer that, lend out my credibility. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
but that's all you need.
Yeah.
Honestly, if had I wished I started, I would not have. I would have partnered with someone that already had experience from my first property. But I didn't know any better.
Mm.
And that's okay. But I think everyone's going to be looking at, hey, what have you done in your past and how much have you helped people? It's because in order for you to raise capital, because you just got to deposit a lot of goodwill into other people's lives and just bring
Yeah.
absolute, like, so much value to them that they can't ignore you. Like, that's really the best way to go about it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely looking for new ways I can stack the value and put that all out there for sure. Absolutely, for sure. That's like a big thought in my head, like constantly is what else am I capable of doing for anyone, and just give that to them. Just give it to them, right?
Yeah.
Um, so, well, if you do think of something more short term that I can be helpful with, let me know, and I'll do what I can for you. I'll keep that in mind regarding developers, other investors, other people with money, and affordable housing interest, all those things. I'm going to keep all that in mind, and when I'm talking to others, if they demonstrate an interest in that, I am going to send them to you and say,
Yeah,
hey,
man.
talk to
I
my man
appreciate
Kent.
that, dude. Yeah. Yeah, send them my referral link for PadSplit. That would be amazing. I would appreciate that.
You do have I thought I saw you post something about that somewhere. I got to go dig that up. But yeah, I didn't realize this. Is that just something you asked PadSplit for, or they just giving that out?
I did ask PadSplit because
Ah,
I
okay.
got them onto my podcast, and right now I'm making content for PadSplit. Like if you look at PadSplit's Instagram page, they also have a lot of my content on there.
Oh, do they? Oh.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I've
if
never,
you look at
I've never been a huge fan of Instagram. Couldn't stand it, but there's just too many people on there, so I feel like, all right, I really have to get into it now. But I'll check that
well,
out. Yeah.
I mean, pick whatever you want. If you just want to do YouTube, that's fine. You do YouTube Shorts, same thing. But if you already have the content, I don't see why it's incremental. Is very minor incremental effort compared to what you've already done for your content creation side.
I have no problem cutting videos different ways for different platforms. That's something I learned how to do with the old baking channel I had.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like I said, those videos were a lot harder to do. I mean, they're evergreen, which is nice, so that you post them and they're good for like 5 years before you need to refresh them. Unlike a finance channel where like you're constantly, staying on top of the news and the video is only good for a pop for like the next day and that's it. It's done. Um,
No, I mean your goal on your Instagram is to get people to go onto your YouTube channel,
yeah.
right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So don't worry about the effect of the Instagram. Even if you get like one person on there, that's great. The
Yeah.
first 1,000 followers on Instagram was really, really, really hard. The last 600 that I've gotten to get to 1,600 were a lot easier, to be quite honest with you.
Um, have you tried? I think you're kind of sort of doing this with your podcasting. Have you tried this trick someone told me about a couple of years back? What they did to build up their YouTube channel, but they said it works on Instagram, TikTok, and wherever, is they go and they find out like who's doing similar things to them and who's bigger than them. And what they do is they go and talk to their audience. Like they comment on videos,
Yep.
they leave posts, they say things, and they try to add value. They don't troll. They don't troll. They just add value. That's
Mm-hmm.
all they're doing. They're adding value, and then trying to work with that community to quote unquote borrow the audience. And if that audience is interested, they're gonna start following. They're gonna become your audience, right? I don't know if you tried that. Sounds like you've done a little bit of that. That is something I was planning on doing for my new channel, as well as just adding value wherever I can. And if people like what I'm doing, they'll come. They'll come to me too, right? I mean, I don't like. I wouldn't view your channel as a competitor to mine or anyone
No.
else's. I'm like, no, I think we can all just help each other. I don't see why
No.
that would be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, look, when I post on Instagram, I add PadSplit as my collaborator, and then I
Hmm.
also add Fernando as my collaborator. I added Tyler, I've added Blake, like a bunch of people, Ray. So whenever I make content, it goes on Ray's page, it goes on PadSplit's page, but it helps you get more exposure out there,
Hmm.
as in you are someone that's really out there to help.
Yeah.
If you look at my Instagram page, a lot of my content isn't even my face.
Hmm.
That's how I got people to understand, like, hey, I do have their best interests at heart,
Hmm.
because I barely have my face
Hmm.
on their content. Like, I am out there. My goal as a podcast host is to, one, build up the reputation of my guests, and then secondarily to ask questions on my audience's behalf. if you have those two goals in mind, like then everything else is just super easy because you've taken all the pressure off of yourself because it's not about you anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's
Um,
what makes it really really cool. And the last thing I might suggest for you to do is like during this conversation I heard a lot of I'm trying, I was planning to do, right? If you just start doing, then now you turn your thing into the active sense, you're going to start programming your head like, hey, I am already doing this.
oh yeah, that's all related to me like running through my typical systems and process of doing things in order, and I just like, yes, I'm trying to do that because I hadn't gotten to it yet, and now it's like top on the list of the next thing I need to work on.
But
So
here's what an investor will hear.
yeah.
An investor will hear this guy's a talker, not a doer. That's what an investor will hear.
Um, yeah, but I can't have everything prepared all at the same time either. So I need a better way of communicating, is
You're
what
not
I'm hearing you
prepared.
say.
You're just no. You're just saying I am working on it. I I am underwriting a deal every day.
Oh,
Instead of saying I'm planning on doing it,
how?
I'm saying I am doing it.
Yeah, and how does that play when you do that and you don't actually have it? Because that is something I see a lot.
Wait, what do you mean? You already have it. You underwrite a deal
No,
every single
people
day.
tell
You
me
have a
all the
cash flow
time
statement.
they've got stuff and they're doing stuff, and then I find out they don't have any of it. And they're nowhere, and
Well,
it
that's why you
just
have a YouTube channel as proof.
no. I mean, like people have told me they've got properties, and then when they get into it, like when we get into it, and they're like, "What do they have?" All they did was go to Zillow and send me a lead. I'm like, "You don't have anything." I'm like, I could have gone to Zillow and found that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, that's why I don't waste my time like that. I don't waste my
Yeah,
time with those
but that's
things.
what I mean. I'm like, I run into that a lot. Like the first meeting, it's like I got all this stuff, and then I find out they have none of it. I'm like, well, stop saying you do. If you don't have it, you don't have it, right? So you're telling me like, oh, just tell people you have it. I'm like, yeah, but if I don't have it, they're gonna find out, right? So
No, no, I'm saying you are doing it instead of saying you have it. You are doing it. You are underwriting every day. You don't have a PadSplit, but you are underwriting PadSplits every day.
oh yeah, that I'm totally doing.
Yeah,
So I guess the videos
exactly.
will be the proof of that, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
All right,
That's why you gotta get
I get it. I get it. Okay.
like everything we talked about today, like there should be a YouTube video of you underwriting a PadSplit today. There should be a YouTube video of you making a website. It's gonna suck. It's supposed to suck.
Oh, I don't have a problem with it sucking. If you
Yeah.
watched my baking channel, you would have seen how bad a lot of that sucked.
Amazing. I cringe at my content too, man. At the old days, I cringe at it. But hey, look, it's only 9:30 on the West Coast. You have plenty of time for today. You should be uploading a video today.
Oh yeah, I'll be making videos later today for sure. That
Love it.
was already
Let's
written
go,
into my.
man.
I have a list. One of my notepads has a list of things to do today, and it's on there.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Well,
All
I mean,
right.
now you've given me about an hour's worth of content I can post about on my channel, and I would hope that you would do the same. You're talking to a noob who sounds like an idiot, and yes, I said that, so post it. I don't care. And I'm making classic mistakes, and that's fine. Like, and this isn't even. I'm not saying this for my own benefit. I'm saying this to anyone who watches the video you post. I'm saying I sound like an idiot, and I'm saying a lot of stupid and wrong things, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's what I'm telling
Yeah.
them.
I'm gonna give you the whole video, but I'm not gonna post the whole video because I want to present you in the best light possible.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And if there's when I cut this into something, I will send it to you first as well, because there may be something you don't want me to share, and that's fine. I just need to know what it is.
Yeah, that's right. I
Yeah,
asked all my guests like, hey, is there anything you want to talk about that you don't want to, or is there anything you don't want to talk about, right, before they come onto the podcast? That's
yeah,
what I ask them every single time. And sometimes people say something, they're like, you know what, I'd rather not that not get published. Cool, I'll just edit it out, no problem. Um, Things lag out during our podcast conversations.
hmm
Cut them out. Simple enough. I think when you have people's best interests at heart, it always will come back to you, no matter what.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean, I
and
don't.
I got your best interest at heart, man. So you got this, man.
I mean,
You
my
got this,
stupid
bro.
stuff's all over this video, so I'm probably not even gonna say cut anything out. I'll just leave it up to you mostly. But I do. I would like to watch it first, is just to see how badly I present myself.
Yeah, dude. Let me show you one more thing. I'll show you how I cut my content from last week. So I had my VA. You able to see my screen?
I have a huge screen, so I can see
Okay.
everything.
Okay. So I just had that video I shared with you last week on how to underwrite So now I took that YouTube video and I just cut it into. So now this is how I cut into Reels from that YouTube video. So I got me talking on the reel and just kind of going through and just taking a clip out of that entire reel. So now you have so much content. Again, if you just post your video on YouTube and just cut it up like this, now all of a sudden you have all your Instagram feed and TikTok feed, YouTube short feed at the same time. So I think this will make your time much, much more efficient from a content creation side. And I literally just started doing this. So
yeah, I didn't know Canva started letting you do. I guess these are shorts. Yeah, this is only a minute. I didn't know Canva started letting you do this 2 years ago. That wasn't a thing.
You do what you want. I think my VA uses CapCut right now to do some of these.
Yeah, I used to use I have Premiere.
I do have Premiere Pro. I have Premiere Pro as well.
And while I already learned how to use it, it can be a beast sometimes. And a lot of people are using Loom to even record or even Zoom to record. And I'm like, well, I have OBS, so I don't care. And because this is what I went through the pain of learning 3-4 years ago when I had the other channel, was like a lot of the things we have today just didn't exist. So we all had to learn things the harder way. But now it's like, I use AI to do a lot of my copywriting even. And now you can use AI to like edit your videos and create avatars.
ChatGPT to make my like Airbnb listings and revamp it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Perfect sense.
So, well, we've been on a lot longer than we were supposed to, and I certainly appreciate all the time and the support you've given me. Happy to help you in any way I can, and I'm certainly going to be following up, as things come up. Maybe there are deals I'll find that we want to partner on. That's why I'll present them when I got them. Do you post your buy box anywhere? Because if I know what that is, it'll be a lot easier when I'm searching properties to know what you might be interested in.
Yeah, I'll send it to you, man.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Let me get your phone number. What's your phone number, dude?
949 712 8775. And I'll send you my Blink card. It has all my info on it just in case. Cool. Actually, the QR code right there is my Blink card. So,
okay.
I always forget that thing is on the screen.
I took a class from this woman named Forbes Riley. You ever heard of her before?
I have not.
She has sold like $2.5 billion, but she got me to articulate my story much better. And I would say she will give you very, very tangible feedback on, hey, this sounds stupid. This sounds too generic. Don't say that shit. Like, I would highly recommend if you could take a class with her, take a class with her.
Is this for anything or like YouTube or
anything? The framework applies to anything.
Okay.
And I swear, once I started telling that story consistently and better over time, like that's how I was able to raise capital from so many people, like get people's attention so I don't sound like a generic. Here's what I mean by generic. Everyone says, oh, I just really want to help people. Super, super generic.
Yeah, that
super, super generic.
To me, it's like a conversation ender. It's like, oh, I just want to help people with what? And then people, I hate to say this because I'm a gator too, but it's like telling everyone that you fund DMD doesn't really help anymore. Like that worked like a year ago, but now there's too many of us. So
yeah, there's too many gators.
I try to help people think beyond that. Like what else are you good at?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I would completely agree with that one. Cool. Let me know you need anything else, man. And yeah, you can share my PadSplit referral link with people. I would appreciate that, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you need me to ever come on your YouTube channel and collaborate or underwrite a deal together, happy to do it, man. I'm just here to have fun and make friends.
Maybe that's a thing we could do is kind of like a combined podcast of like an underwriting kind of thing. Like here's your way, here's my way, here's the calculators we're using, here's how we do things. And it doesn't even have to be just us. There could be other people. Because I know a bunch of different folks. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, and I got to say too, the other thing people struggle with, which a little surprising, but also not surprising. They don't know how to comp properties. And I'm like, I look at it, it was like, okay, there's comping and there's underwriting. They are two different things, but they're all both like they're part of the same thing for me anyway. I do both at the same time. And I tell them, I'm like, okay, do you know, like, if you don't know how to comp, the easiest place to start, just go get Laura's comping rules. They're very similar to mine anyway, or mine are very similar to hers. And I'm like, she's a realtor, so she knows her stuff, right? So like, just start there and learn how to do that, and then you'll be able to comp properties. It shouldn't even take you that long. And if you still need help,
But you should make it. You should make that your own though. Dave.
yeah, and I even said, I'm like, if you still need help, just come back to me, let me know, and I'll help you
You
learn.
should say, here are my company rules.
I can certainly do that. I guess the way I look at comping as it's not that hard to learn. So underwriting is a lot harder for people.
No. You're assuming it's not that hard to learn because you're in it. A lot of people out there that have never heard
Really?
of real estate are not good at comping.
Really?
You're making too many assumptions, man.
I don't know. It's just most of the people I talk to just never tried it
it's
before.
because you're talking to people only in sub two and only in real estate. That's the problem. That's why I make it a goal to not only talk to people in sub two, because then you are in this whirlwind of a world where everybody knows about real estate, and that's how you assume that's the only way you need to talk to people. Why is Pace successful? Is because he consistently re-explains the fundamentals of real estate to new people that are not in sub two.
I guess I will have to add that to the list.
Right?
I guess for me,
Go ahead.
yeah, no, I hear you. Because I guess for me, it's always that comping was the one thing that did come naturally. When I bought my very first property, like 15 years ago, that was so easy for me to do even then. That's when Zillow was new. So I guess I never connected that dot as something that's difficult for people, but I guess maybe it just is. So, yeah, I guess I can add that to the list now. There you go.
Yeah.
That's the final thought. One last thing to add.
No, people are looking to you for leadership. There are so many people in this world that's seeking financial freedom that don't even know Pace and Laura Morby. They don't.
Mm.
As big as they are, they're also not that big at the same time. They're only big in our world because our world's revolving around them. But that's really not the case for the rest of the world, man.
Well, I do have loyalty, but I'm not loyal only to Pace. I have other coaches for other things.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's not about loyalty. It's about you building the brand and you being the person to help, because Pace and Laura cannot help everybody.
Yeah.
Right? That's why they build a community, so you can go on and help other people. So that's why you need to say, like, hey, here's what I have learned about comp. Here's how I do it different.
Right.
Because if I follow the same way that everybody else analyzed Airbnbs and everybody else analyzed PadSplits, then there's something special. But I craft in my own way that I can educate someone and explain my framework to them in a way that makes sense so that they can digest it. And the only way you get better at it is by doing it over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah, and see, because I do general business stuff too, so I've needed to have other coaches for that, so I could learn, and as a result, I've gotten good at other things. I'm trying to decide
Stop
how.
saying the word I'm trying. Stop saying the
I
word
said that on purpose this time. I'm trying to decide how best to employ those skill sets so that I can start offering those. Because once I figure that out, I'm offering them. Because I don't know yet. And again, it's on that list. It's on the list. Like, here's my big long list of things I need to do. And I'm here right now working on these things. That's over here. So it's just haven't gotten to it yet. That's why I'm trying.
Cool.
But I will be doing that. So there are other skills I'll bring to the table that I think will be helpful to others. Because I know one of my partners and I did talk about we want to come up with our own program to offer people help starting their businesses, because that's a huge struggle as well. In this community, even, it's a huge struggle. So that's a thing we're working on right now. So, look, if I can come up with things, this is again a message for everyone who's still here on this watching, but if I can come up with things that I can do to help people, so can you. And everybody's got a skill. You've got something you can do, and you have something to offer. You just haven't thought of it yet, and that's okay. Talk to more people. We'll help you. We will help you. We'll help you figure that out. That's what Pace is trying to do. That's what we're going to try and do. we're all here to help. So that's it. That's my final message. I don't want to drag you out on this call anymore. I really appreciate all your time today, Kent.
Yeah, no
This has
problem.
been a pleasure meeting you. You've given me lots of great advice, a lot to think about, and a lot to do. So I'm going to be doing all of that,
Hey,
and
I
then
love
some,
it, man.
and then some.
Hey.
Yeah, and for the things you've asked for, when I find them, I will send them your way. Absolutely,
Yeah, I
absolutely.
appreciate it. Hey, if you could make a post on the Facebook group just saying like, "Hey, I had a great conversation with Ken, gave me a lot of good advice," I appreciate that, man. 'Cause
Yeah,
that would
we'll
help me raise
do.
capital too.
We'll do.
I appreciate that, dude.
Yeah, we'll do. Because there was another guy I talked to a couple weeks back, and I did exactly that. I don't know if you saw that message. I was surprised that message got so much pop on there. I thought maybe 10 people would see it, and it was like a lot of people saw it.
Love
Um,
it.
I will absolutely do something for you as well. Anything I can think of that I can do, I'm going to do it. So that's it.
Thank
I
you, man.
appreciate
I
it,
appreciate you.
and looking forward to doing more things together.
Sounds good, man. You
All
have
right.
an amazing day, man. Talk
You
to you
too.
later.
Talk to you later.
Bye.